2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you go right, left, T, T, T. 5, 6, 7, and 8. T, 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 T. 6, 7, and 8. T, 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 T. From the top. 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Good job. So from here, you're gonna go diagonal right, and you're gonna go 1, 2, 3. 7 and 8, 1, 2, 3. 7 and 8, 1, 2, 3. So when you get here, pa. So you have to push your hips forward. It's like a mini circle right and left. 7 and 8, 8, 6, 7 and 8, chi. So from T, ta, pa. 5, 6, 7 and 8, T, ku, ta on the top. 6, 7 and 8, 1, 2, Oui? Oui. Yes? Let me see. 5, 6, 7 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Ne fais pas trop dur celui-là. Pas trop dur. Prends le from the top. 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8. So now you keep the domino technique if you can. So when you go right A, left A, you're gonna go T. And then you're gonna end it up pretty much diagonal here. What? So from B. So I did A. I'm gonna go T. It's a circle. What? I'll come from the top. 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. E, A. 2, ta. You see? 6, 7, and 8. 1, So when you go. Keep doing your winding, keep doing your domino. Well, I don't care. You do the side that you want as long as you're winding. Well, I'll go 5 top, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes or no? Yes. Moving on? Yes. Okay, so we're here. Yes. For this part. 7